Hey, we've been talking about two very different celebrity cases dealing with custody. One, Jason Patrick, the actor, sperm donor or dad. And then there's Simon Cowell's baby mama, who just negotiated for joint custody for a 7-year-old. More to that story. So now is Simon a sperm donor or dad? It's a surprise baby. Lori Clark Viviano is here from Law Office of Lori Clark Viviano, all about custody concerns. So, hey, thanks for joining us.
Hey, but you know, like we were talking ahead of time, why wouldn't you want the dad to be involved?
I know. I'm surprised. I mean, you know, obviously there can be some
Absolutely.
friction.
Well, no, there could be. He's a bad dad. He's an alcoholic. He's a drug addict. He hurts the children. I get that. But let's remove all of those issues. Who wouldn't want their dad, the bio dad, to be involved?
Absolutely. And this whole case with Jason Patrick, you know, he's really become very public about it because his son's 3 years old.
Well, and here's the deal. If you are a true sperm donor, that means you're number 197. No one knows who you are. You donate your sperm and a child is born. I get that. But he interacted with this child, knew who the mother was. They
paid
had a relationship,
support.
Paid child support, and now it's like, oh wait, I want you gone.
Yeah, I guess didn't he sign some document or something in the beginning before the child was born saying I give up my parental rights?
Let me ask you this. How much did you love your child before you had them and after?
Oh yeah, it's a huge difference.
Huge. So to me, for someone to make that decision, even you and I who had them in our bellies, I didn't have a clue how much I was going to love my children.
No, you start wearing your heart outside your body, which I think in this case he said it's all about Gus, his kid.
Oh, well, I have my girlfriend, I love her. She didn't have a baby till she was 35, and she goes, oh my God, I'm one of those moms.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, you know, yeah, you sign something because you don't see it, you're not involved, and that sounds all great, and then the baby's born, and then you interact.
So he's taking his fight all the way to what, the California legislature? Yes. And I don't think there's a resolution to it yet.
Well, but I think they're going to have to look at this because to me, donating sperm is kind of a separate issue. It's like I said, you go to the bank and you read the book and you say, I want that one. I want that pretty blonde, blue-eyed, you know, match for me. But in this case, it wasn't quite that way. We don't know the story behind it. But again, like we were talking about, what mom doesn't want her dad involved? That always kind of makes me, when someone says that to me, either when I'm representing a dad or a mom, I always ask why. And if they have a good reason, that's different. But if they don't have a good reason, then you have to kind of start looking at that parent.
Right. And so let's talk about the other case too, because we're going to keep our eye on that one.
That's going to be great.
Simon Cowell, my gosh, you know, he was his good friend, supposedly. His wife, they'd had some affair, and now she's pregnant, and she's with Simon Cowell, divorcing the rich guy.
Oh, I love all those. We have this happen all the time. My job, I don't ever have to watch Beverly Hills Housewives.
You have your own reality show.
I have my own reality show. You know, sister has an affair with their husband and a baby, and you know who's the dad, and you've got to do testing. But technically, under the law, child is of the marriage. So technically, he has to relinquish his parental rights of that baby and give the parental rights to Simon Cowell.
Oh, he does?
He does. He absolutely has to do that.
So they had a 7-year-old already, and I guess they already settled that divorce. She gets something like $2 million, and then they split custody.
Right.
But with the baby in her belly, that's different.
You know, here's my thing. If they wanted to stay together and they knew Simon was the dad, that's a whole different conversation, because then you have to say, you know, you always want to keep the marital relationships in check. But in this case, she's divorcing him. She wants to be with Simon Cowell, and he is the dad. Of course, I'd all want a testing after the baby's born, because you'd be surprised the things I see.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah. I'll tell you my best story. Woman had a relationship with all 3 brothers. She said it was brother number 1. He tested 86%, which isn't good enough. Second brother tested the same. The married brother was, in fact, the biological dad. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. So I've seen it all, you know.
Let me ask you, after all that came out, did she end up staying with any of them? Any of the 3?
None of them. It was all a child support issue.
Okay.
But you have to identify the father, and the father is entitled to, when men come to my office, the first thing I tell them, spend the money and have a genetic testing, just to make sure. You know, you kind of want to know before you walk into it. And I usually can tell, because you and I both know who the dad is.
Yeah. Yeah, we know.
We know.
I think that we're the only ones who know.
Exactly.
Everyone else has to do their guessing.
Right.
Here's the information, 2 locations that you have there. Bankers Hill and Del Mar, so if you want to get in contact and you need some help.
Yeah, and come earlier rather than later.
Yes, that's good advice.
Exactly.
Hey, great to see you. Thanks
to see
as
you.
always for coming in.
Yes.
And have a great weekend.
And the topic was interesting.
It was very interesting.
Exactly.
So hopefully no reality shows for you this weekend.
Not this weekend.
Just relaxing.
Exactly.
Last days of summer. All right. We'll talk to you soon. For more information, go to san diego6.com and click on San Diego Living.